What's up, everybody? We got episode 3 of Agatha tonight, and boy, do we need to talk about it, but there will, of course, be spoilers for the episode, so you've been warned. Now let's get into it. We began our walk down the Witch's Road this week, and Mrs. Hart gets things going being her hilarious self, and on the flip side, Agatha is being very strange about this journey, of course, having done it already, but she's also keeping stuff from the other witches, and while all that bickering is going down between them, Mrs. Hart, she wanders off and almost dies as she steps off the road, which is a big no-no. Then, after saving Mrs. Hart, the coven stumbles upon a home and the first trial of the road. Once we get inside, they explore, but it's pretty quick to the point with the wine, as Jennifer Kale also warns Wiccan about Agatha, which he of course already knows all about her, but then she goes on and she even tells him about Agatha sacrificing Nicholas for the Book of the Damned, the Darkhold, and that one, that seemed to kind of slip by his cracks. Maybe he didn't know about that, it got to him. And also, she goes on to mention Mephisto for the first time finally, which also seems to be the person who stole some of her power. Anyway, Mrs. Hart gets the drinking started, but that's quickly going to backfire as we learn it's poison. We also get an interesting conversation between Wiccan and Alice, who in the comics, she gets that red hair when her mother dies, and I know she doesn't have it in this shot, but she has it in the show. And with Wiccan mentioning her tattoo in this episode, it kind of makes me wonder if they're adding that in too, because in the comics she puts hexes on her weapons that not everybody can see, and so Wiccan seeing this tattoo and being the first one to mention it kind of just feels like maybe they're going to add that in for the character. At the same time, they're still trying to work a misdirect with Wiccan, even though Funko leaked it, and he's Wiccan as if we already didn't know before Funko leaked it. They're trying to sell, or I think they're trying to sell him as Nicholas Scratch, but the reality is Agatha's likely being careful with him because she wants to control him because she probably knows who he is already as Agatha, finally drinks it so that he doesn't have to. But with everybody poisoned, they've got to get an antidote going, specifically Jennifer Kale, who that was a great outfit, we'll leave it at that, but she's their witch for this job. They split up, and then everyone starts seeing their nightmares except Wiccan, who wasn't poisoned. We saw Alice seeing her mother seemingly burning herself. Lilia sees what I'm assuming was her daughter based on how she's been treating Agatha, and then how she reacts when she runs into Agatha after this scene. I think she might have been projecting some guilt in those first two episodes onto Agatha. We also got our first look at Aubrey Plaza as Lady Death in that scene here, and this was such a fun surprise to find out who she's actually portraying in this show. And also, go watch her in Megalopolis. She is hilarious. Anyway, we got Jennifer Kale. She had a priest show up, I believe. I'm not super familiar with her in the comics. I believe that was a priest. And then for Agatha, it was Scratch's cries being heard only for her to see the Darkhold, which she wanted so much more than her own son. But despite them all getting past their nightmares, the potion isn't working, and now the house it's underwater instead of in the desert. Agatha takes Jen to the side, and she needs to get her head on straight, despite her hatred for the witch. In Catherine's best scene from this week's episode, next to the one with the baby crib, that was damn good too. This was a great scene here towards the end, building off those nightmare scenes, of course, which worked so well, carrying this back half of the episode. The pep talk worked, and the coven makes it out of the first trial thanks to Wiccan's blood, and one of them, I believe it was Agatha, and if it was really actually Catherine Hahn doing this down this mudslide, I know you get a close up on her face, so she's at least on it at some point, but if she's the one that crashes down into the group, she went flying down that mudslide, so shout out for the commitment, whoever that was. But the sad fact is, they didn't make it out untouched as we've lost Mrs. Hart. Rest in peace, Queen. You'll be missed. I did think that was a bit of a step down from the two episode premiere. The front half of the episode was slow once again for me, a problem I've had with all three episodes so far, but I've also thought all three finished strong, so it's evenly balanced at least, and also it's consistent. The Mephisto name drop was of course amazing, with the Nicholas Scratch breadcrumbs continuing week after week. And so that'll do it for my breakdown of the third episode from Agatha All Along. This was just a small bump in the road for the show. It wasn't even that bad of an episode, just a bit of a step down, and I think maybe I just missed Aubrey Plaza in the episode, who only appeared once in her death form. Let me know what you thought about episode 3 though down in the comments below, and make sure you have a great day.